He's 102 years old, still practicing medicine, still waking up each morning with clarity, with rhythm, and with purpose. Dr. Howard Tucker, once named the world's oldest practicing physician, isn't just a medical marvel. He's a living mirror, reflecting back what's possible if we don't stop moving. He isn't surviving old age, he's shaping it, with quiet habits that build not just years, but meaning. This video is not about fads. It's about 5 quiet practices that helped Dr. Tucker live beyond 100. Not just longer, but better. Let's walk through his day. And maybe you'll recognize something your body already knows. 1. Keep your mind engaged, even after retirement. Most people imagine retirement as the finish line. But for Dr. Tucker, it was just a bend in the road, the perfect moment to turn inward and expand outward. At 67, he enrolled in law school, not because he needed the degree, but because he believed learning was living. Decades later, he still reviews neurology cases, attends conferences, and gives talks to young doctors, many of whom weren't even born when he first held a scalpel. His secret? He never stopped being curious. Neurologically, this matters. A 2019 Harvard Health study revealed that seniors who engage in mentally stimulating activities, even simple ones like reading, journaling, or mentoring, experience slower rates of memory decline. But it's not just about staying sharp. It's about staying awake to life. When the brain is given something to stretch toward, a new idea, a conversation, a small challenge, it strengthens neural pathways, like muscles that refuse to atrophy. Dr. Tucker often says that what keeps him going isn't knowledge, it's wonder. He reminds us that the brain doesn't retire, only the job does. So ask yourself, what topic still lights you up inside? Is there a book you've always wanted to finish? A skill you never gave yourself permission to try? Maybe it's not too late. Maybe that someday you've been postponing still has a door waiting quietly for you to walk through. And maybe, just maybe, that step could be the most nourishing thing you've done for your mind in years. So, if you had 1 hour this week to learn again, what would you choose? 2. Move gently, but move consistently. Dr. Tucker never ran marathons. He never pushed iron in a gym, but he moved with grace, with rhythm, and with trust in his body. In his 80s, he snowshoed through Ohio winters, crunching softly across frozen trails. Now, at 102, he walks on a treadmill a few times a week. Just 2-3 miles. No pressure, no performance. Just presence. And that simple act, the act of showing up in motion, may be the most powerful thing keeping his brain alive. The Journal of Gerontology revealed something stunning. Older adults with stronger leg muscles had significantly better cognitive function over time. Why? Because movement increases blood flow to the brain, supports the hippocampus, and reduces low-grade inflammation, one of the silent drivers of memory decline. But Dr. Tucker's habit isn't about science. It's about ritual, about placing his feet on the ground each day with intention, not to run from age, but to meet it halfway. It turns out, gentle movement may be the oldest form of medicine, not the kind that fixes you, but the kind that reminds your body what it can still do. So, ask yourself, when was the last time you danced slowly to a song you love, stretched your arms towards sunlight in the morning, took a slow, no-destination walk just to feel the air shift around your face? You don't need to chase youth. You just need to keep your body from forgetting that it's still here, still part of the rhythm. Mini invitation. Tomorrow morning, before checking your phone, take 5 slow steps across your room. Then pause. That's movement. That's life. Still yours. 3. Choose people over perfection. When asked about the real secret to his long life, Dr. Tucker didn't mention supplements or steps walked. He mentioned his wife. They were married for 66 years, a bond not marked by perfection, but by patience. He once said, "We disagreed often, but we never went to bed in silence." There's something deeply healing about being seen, not as a version of your best self, but as you truly are, and staying anyway. The Harvard Adult Development Study, spanning over 80 years, confirms what Dr. Tucker lived. Warm relationships, not cholesterol levels or career achievements, are the strongest predictors of happiness and long-term health. In other words, Your heart is protected not just by what you eat, but by who holds space for you when you're hurting. We often chase ideal connections, the perfect partner, the friend who always understands, the child who never forgets to call. But Dr. Tucker's life teaches us something quieter. Connection isn't about perfection. It's about return, coming back to the table, choosing to forgive, not because the other deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness, as researchers now suggest, has measurable health benefits. Lower blood pressure, reduced cortisol levels, and even improved immune response. Not bad for something that starts with 3 words. I release you. So take a moment today and scan your heart gently. Is there someone whose name brings tension to your chest? Is there someone you miss but don't know how to reach? Dr. Tucker would likely say, don't wait for the right moment. Create one. Because in the end, it may not be the vitamins that keep your heart strong, but the people who remind it how to stay soft. 4. Eat with joy, not rules. Dr. Tucker begins each morning the same way. A bowl of seasonal fruit, a bit of whole grain cereal, a cup of warm tea. No counting, no keto, no guilt. At 102, his diet is less about strategy and more about sympathy for his own body. He doesn't avoid carbs out of fear. He simply doesn't fear food. There's a soft kind of wisdom in the way he eats. He listens. He adjusts. He enjoys. Lunch, sometimes not needed. Dinner, light, unprocessed, and unhurried. He allows room for a glass of wine. He doesn't demonize a bit of dessert. He avoids smoking, but never avoided pleasure. This isn't a formula. It's a rhythm. And rhythm, not restriction, is what our biology craves. Modern research backs this up. A landmark study in The Lancet followed middle-aged adults for over a decade. It found that extreme or highly restrictive diets offered no long-term benefits for longevity, and in some cases, increased stress markers and cortisol levels. Meanwhile, those who ate moderately, focusing on consistency, whole ingredients, and emotional ease, tended to live longer, happier lives. Because when meals become battlegrounds, the body doesn't feel safe enough to heal. There's something sacred in allowing joy back onto the plate. Ask yourself gently, when was the last time you ate something nourishing? Not because it was good, but because it made you feel whole. Could the bowl of soup your mother used to make, the tea you shared with an old friend, be just as healing as any supplement? Maybe health isn't about saying no to more things. Maybe it's about remembering which foods felt like home and letting them return. 5. Begin with ritual, not rush. Dr. Tucker begins every morning the same way, not with emails, not with breaking news, but with rhythm, a slice of fruit, a modest bowl of cereal, a hot cup of tea, and quiet. No screens, no multitasking, no dopamine hits before daylight. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But this might be one of the most powerful longevity tools we overlook, the art of how we begin the day. Studies show that cortisol levels spike naturally within 30 minutes after waking. It's our body's way of preparing us for alertness. But if we overwhelm that moment with sugar, noise, chaos, we train our nervous system to panic, not prepare. Dr. Tucker protects that window like a sacred space, and it shows. He begins not as a reaction to the world, but as a quiet invitation to life. Green tea, for instance, contains EGCG, a compound shown to reduce inflammation and support cellular repair. Berries, rich in polyphenols, not only protect the heart, but also fuel brain health. And the act of chewing slowly, sitting calmly, actually stimulates the vagus nerve, the highway of calm throughout the body. But maybe more than any of that is the message your body receives when you begin the day with care, that you are worth patience, that you don't need to rush to matter. So ask yourself, what's the first thing your body touches in the morning? A phone screen or a breath of air? What if for just 1 week you gave yourself 5 silent minutes with something warm? Fruit, tea, a prayer, a window cracked open. You may find that peace is not something you chase. It's something you remember. At 6 a.m., with a spoon in your hand and the world still soft. Dr. Tucker's story isn't a tale of perfection. It's a map of presence, of showing up again and again, not because everything is easy, but because life still offers something sacred. He didn't hack longevity. He honored it. Through rhythm, through relationships, through remembering that healing is rarely loud. It's the quiet decision to keep walking when no one is watching. He moved not to chase youth, but to stay in rhythm with his own breath. He forgave, not to erase the past, but to protect his peace. He woke up each day with no grand agenda, just a bowl of fruit, a bit of movement, and the belief that he still mattered. So what if that's the real key? Not chasing some perfect lifestyle, but letting yourself be in relationship with your life again. You don't need to fix everything or reinvent yourself. You just need to come back to the one habit, the one rhythm, the one quiet truth your body has been gently nudging you toward. So, before you scroll away, pause. Ask your body, not your mind. What do you miss that made you feel alive? It might not be something new. It might be something very old, something forgotten. And if so, you haven't lost time. If one sentence, one image, or one moment in this video gently stirred something inside you, hold on to it. Write it down. Whisper it to yourself tonight. Sometimes, healing doesn't come from learning more, but from remembering what we already knew of the 5 small habits we shared today. Which one are you most drawn to try this week? Share it in the comments. Your words might be the quiet nudge someone else has been waiting for. If this space made you feel lighter, softer, more human, stay with us. Here, we don't race against time. We return to ourselves, one breath, one quiet practice at a time.